In terms of the Golden Mickeys, the music is great, but the story is the Ensign Benson thing for me didn't really cut it.
See, Brian?
Oh my God, Sam, you're like the ultimate of like confirmation bias.
No, it's cute. It's cute, but it's just not Frozen level, right?
You know whose opinion I'm hanging my hat on, Sam? Carly Weissel. So there you go. Like, 55,000 strong followers on Instagram, and she likes the Golden Mickeys. Welcome back, everybody, to this week's episode of the DCL Duo podcast, brought to you by My Path Unwinding Travel. And Sam, do a jingle. Pick a song. Sing your song.
I like Simply the Best, better than all the rest.
There you go. All right. It's review time. This is our new review time jingle. We'll polish it up. Or like I said before.
It. And I like that I sing it live every time, so it sounds a little different each time. That's not a recorded track, you guys. I'm singing that live every show.
I don't think anyone would mistake it for a recorded track. All right, this week's review comes from Chemtev, 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 who writes, "Can't believe it took so long to find Sam and Brian. Love this podcast. Very good info and great balanced interviews. I'm an experienced Disney cruiser, but wish I had found them sooner." Well, thank you for that. We're glad that our show can help you out, even as an experienced cruiser. We love bringing on people to give pro tips. Sometimes we sprinkle a few like pixie dust into our own commentary. But yes, thank you for the review.
And we're sorry it took you so long to find us too. If you feel like there are folks who don't know about us, spread the word. That's our best advertising is word of mouth. You telling your friend who's thinking about a Disney cruise that we exist and to listen or watch us on YouTube.
When you're chatting with folks, cocktails in the hot tub on the Disney Dream or wherever it is, let them know about the DCL Duo. All right, with that, just remember, folks out there listening, one of the easiest ways to help support the show, right? You know the spiel. I give it every week. Head over to Apple Podcasts, hit those 5 stars. If you leave us a written review, we will read it on the air at the top of one of our main episodes. And with that, Sam, I'm handing it over to you. We have a guest from a galaxy far, far away, or at least another continent here on our Earth. But yes, Sam.
Yes, we're excited to welcome back to the show from all the way across the Atlantic Ocean, from the city of Amsterdam, the city of tulips, we'll call it. We are very excited to welcome back to the show, Jason. Welcome back, Jason.
Hi, guys. Thanks so much for having me back. I'm really excited.
Yeah, we're really excited to chat with you.
I was just thinking, when we're in Amsterdam next summer, I'm hoping maybe Jason's there. We can say hi. Like,
yes,
it'd be nice if it's not too far. I know we sometimes say we're from Seattle. We're not. We're from a suburb of Seattle, and it's. So anyway,
we're in the city. We're very close.
All right,
we'll easy.
We'll get a bike, and we'll bike over.
That's required, standard issue. That's right.
I feel like every family in Amsterdam must have like a fleet of bikes. It's like a thing. You have to have them.
Yes, we have 6, I think, for a family of 4. Yes.
Of course. See? It's not a stereotype. It's true.
Yeah, it's like cars in the U.S. In the Netherlands, there are more bikes than people.
Well, yeah. they're
in
they're
Seattle,
nice bikes.
There's more.
They're really nice bikes too. Like they have like. Yeah.
In Seattle, there's actually more dogs than children. I have to say, there are more dogs. Yeah. It's where like this city is a dog city. Yeah.
I really wanted to get a Dutch bike at one point here in Seattle, but they are super expensive. They're like imports, right? So it's like buying a BMW of bikes over here. Yeah, they have the lights. They have the gyro lights and then the built-in locks and. Yeah, people here in the U.S. couldn't figure out the built-in locks because they're like, well, someone will just take my bike anyway.
Yes. That's why you have 2 locks. I have a built-in lock and I have a second lock.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. That makes sense. Yeah.
Well, we're not going to talk about bicycles as a mode of transportation today. We're going to be talking about cruising because, Jason, you flew all the way from Amsterdam to Southern California.
It's a long trip.
Not just to take a Disney cruise, but to go to Disneyland and take a Disney cruise. What sparked you heading all the way to Southern California? You just really wanted to get to Disneyland?
Well, of course. It's always any excuse to go to Disneyland, right?
Yeah.
So this vacation was part of a bigger U.S. based trip. We did 2 weeks in the US. The first week, we actually flew back to Portland to visit family and friends. So a week in Portland. And then I thought, well, if we're going to be on the West Coast, we should probably get down to Disneyland and then also perhaps a cruise out of San Diego.
I like the way you think.
Perfect. Well, and there aren't cruises all year round out of San Diego at this point. And so you're lucky that your timing worked out so well to be able to hop on the Wonder out of San Diego. Cause, she's over in Australia and New Zealand for a big part of the year. She does Alaska for part of the year. And so your timing has to be like perfect. You've got to be sailing in, I think it's like March and April now, or at least that this year for 2025. It was sort of March and April when the Wonder was sailing out of San Diego. With I think there was maybe a repositioning cruise outside of that, but otherwise you're talking about sailing out of Vancouver, or you're having to go all the way across the Pacific Ocean to sail her out of Australia and New Zealand. So your timing was spot on. For those who can't tell, Jason is an American who lives over in Amsterdam. Obviously, he's an American accent. He's originally from here, but he is an expat who lives over in Amsterdam. And Jason was on our show to talk about his first cruise with his family on Disney Cruise Line previously. So if you want to get into our back catalog, it's a great episode, great first time cruiser episode. And we're so glad that he's, of course, joining us back to talk about his second cruise. All right. So, Jason, you guys fly all the way over. You're spending a week in Portland. Did you do that before you went to Disneyland? Like, what was the order of the trip?
Yeah, the order was a week in Portland, and then we flew down to San Diego and did the cruise, and then we ended in Disneyland before we came back to Amsterdam.
I want to ask, like, how was the stay at Disneyland? Where just give us some details about Disneyland. Where did you stay on property? That's always a question that people have.
We did. In the past year, my mom bought DVC. So we stayed for the first time at the Disneyland Villas. And
nice.
It was amazing. It was so nice. That was definitely a highlight of the Disneyland trip, was the hotel and the pool at the hotel.
Awesome. Now, when you got down to San Diego, because from Portland, were you there a day before, 2 days before? Like, did you get up to anything in San Diego before the cruise, or were you just like hopping on the ship right away?
So we flew in on Saturday, which is 2 nights before the cruise left on Monday.
Perfect. And so where did you guys stay in San Diego then?
So we actually were able to get into a condo through one of our friends up in Oregon. Their families have timeshares on the West Coast. And so they helped us get into a condo for a couple nights right downtown San Diego.
Oh, awesome. Did you get to do some touristy stuff in San Diego?
Yes, we ended up going to the zoo.
Of course.
Yeah.
The best zoo.
I'd never been before, and it was a bucket list item, but the weather was terrible. It was raining the whole time, and it was super cold as well. That's kind of ironic based on how we ended up booking this cruise. So when I talked to you guys last year, the plan after our concierge cruise on the Wish was to do a European cruise on the Fantasy in summer of 2025. But I could not convince my wife to go along with that. It was a 4-night cruise to Spain out of Southampton in August of 25. And she said, the weather's going to be terrible. And I said, really?
Oh, no.
She's Dutch. So for those listening, my wife is Dutch. She's the reason why we're here. And we have 2 children. And so she said, I don't want to take a cruise out of England to Spain, like the weather on the channel. The weather is going to be bad. And I said, well, it's August and it's Spain. That should be
how
good,
bad
right?
could it be?
She said, it's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. I'm not going to take it. It's a bit like, growing up in the Pacific Northwest. It can be cold in summer. So couldn't get on board. And so when I said, well, how about when we go to the West Coast, we do just a 3-night cruise out of San Diego on the Wonder. She said, San Diego, great. Weather, great. Let's do that. It was a no-brainer. And then we could put a pin in that because we did not get the greatest weather.
Well, and San Diego is generally beautiful and does tend to have really nice weather, but there are times of the year where it can get a cold front. I mean, it's not as common as in the Pacific Northwest, but that doesn't mean it doesn't happen. And if it's not warm in San Diego, guess where it's also not going to be warm? On your cruise to Ensenada. It's going to be, because Ensenada and San Diego are like I think like 90 miles apart. Like they're really, really close. And so you can drive to Ensenada from San Diego in an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe. And so you're not going much farther south when you're on a 3-night cruise from where San Diego is. So yeah, you're going to have, if you have cool weather in San Diego, you're going to have cooler weather on a Disney cruise out of San Diego. Unless you're on like one of those 7-night ones that goes all the way down to Puerto Vallarta and Mazatlan, which those itineraries are super, super rare. They only do them like maybe once or twice a year if they do them. All right. So you did the zoo. I gotta give a big plug for the San Diego Zoo. And I heard they do have pandas now.
We saw them. I wanted to tell you, Sam. They have the pandas.
I am so jealous, Jason. I had heard after I think we put out a show and I had mentioned about how they didn't have pandas. Somebody reached out and said, "Oh no, they have pandas again," and which is like, I don't know. I feel like pandas are like a highlight for any zoo because they're just so rare, right? And you really can only see them in China or at the National Zoo and now at the San Diego Zoo. But San Diego has, bar none, the best zoo in the country. So if you are a big zoo person, or your kids are big zoo people, you need to take them to the San Diego Zoo. Absolutely. All right. So you guys are staying downtown. You hit up the zoo. Any other highlights from San Diego before you boarded the beautiful Disney Wonder just in downtown San Diego?
The weather was so terrible. We couldn't be bothered. It was like 65 and raining on and off for our one day in San Diego. So we had a rainy day at the zoo, which was still pretty nice. I would say the other highlight, we were so tired after that. We went back to the condo and we ordered takeout. And I had, I think, the best Mexican food of my life delivered. It was unbelievable. So that was a big highlight.
That's like if you go to Texas, you got to get barbecue. You go to Southern California, you got to get Mexican food. It's amazing. Yeah. And and they have that Old Town there in San Diego with some really great Mexican food. So yeah.
What was it? Do you know remember the name of the Mexican place you got food from?
Oh my gosh.
You know what?
Look at my Uber Eats receipts.
Well, we can get to that later at the end of the show.
Let's put a placeholder in for Casa Bonita. Casa
Bonita. That's a South Park reference for those who don't know, and it actually does exist apparently somewhere in Colorado. There is a real Casa Bonita.
I know. I just read recently the creators of South Park bought it, refurbished it, and reopened it, and they have Club Casa Bonita now. Yes. So.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
I found the name, guys.
There we go.
Rubio's Coastal Grill.
Rubio's Coastal Grill. Okay, so a shout out for Rubio's Coastal Grill. Jason got takeout from there, so we don't know what the sit down situation looks like, but apparently delicious Mexican food. So all right, love that.
Awesome.
Southern California knows its tacos. All right, well, so you've got you're going to be boarding the Disney Wonder in downtown San Diego. That's actually one of the best things about sailing out of San Diego is you can like walk there from from a lot of downtown hotels, and it's just super, super convenient, or a quick Uber ride. Tell us like how was the check-in experience, the port experience? It's not the nicest terminal or anything like that. It's certainly not a bespoke Disney terminal. Was it chaotic or was it smooth sailing as far as the process at the port?
Yeah, you're right. It's not the nicest terminal, but it went pretty smoothly. We got dropped off outside. They had like 4 different queues lined up outside and a tent that you check in and show your reservation. They line you up by time code, and we were outside maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It went pretty smoothly, and we were let in.
That's awesome. What was your port arrival time?
We were about 12 or 12:30, I think.
Okay, great. Yeah. And then tell us once you're, through that process, how long was it before you got actually onto the ship? Was there time waiting in the terminal, or was it fairly quick?
So you moved through the line pretty quickly to the terminal. We got to a check-in desk. Some of our magic bands weren't working. They kept trying, but they said, okay, we'll have to figure it out on board. And then I think we sat maybe 15 or 20 minutes before they called our boarding group. Not a terribly long time.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And that's pretty typical for San Diego. San Diego's never like quite as quick as at Port Canaveral, where you can literally check in, go through everything, and then like right away board. I feel like in San Diego, it's very typical to have some time where you're going to wait in the terminal because they just it takes, I think, them longer to sort of clear customs and all the sort of processes that the Disney has to do with the port folks. All right, well, tell us what it was like boarding the beautiful Disney Wonder. This was your first time on the Wonder. I'm trying to remember what your prior cruise of the Wish, right?
We did a 4-night concierge on the Wish.
That's right. Yeah. So, but these are very different ships. You're talking, the Wish having the grand atrium and the grand hall, and the Wonder, which we love, but it has a much smaller atrium and smaller than even the Dream and the Fantasy, which I know you haven't been on, but those are sort of like in between, right? In classes. What did you guys think when you boarded the beautiful Disney Wonder?
Well, I think I should mention a moment before we got on the ship. We went and snapped some photos on the pier and got a really good look at the ship. And of course, it's beautiful. But then we did notice down at the bottom, like around the water line, that it is showing in need of some maintenance, some paint chipping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think it's important for anybody listening to know that my family's point of comparison is only to a concierge cruise on the Disney Wish.
Yeah.
All the direct comparisons are pretty unfair, I would say.
Right. Sure. A ship that came out in 2022 versus a ship that came out in the early, what was it, like 2000 or something, or 2000? I can't remember which year the Wonder came out, because the Magic came out in 1998 and the Wonder was just a couple of years later. So yeah, we're talking 20-year age difference in these two ships, of course. But yeah, what did you think? And you're right, there is some aging. I think Disney does a good job of maintenance, but some parts they can't help but show their age, because they can't really do anything at the water line unless she's out at dry dock, and so there's not that maintenance has to wait till dry dock. But yeah, what did you think of the interior of the ship when you walked into that atrium?
It was beautiful. So unlike last time, we had watched a lot more YouTube videos before, and we were all really excited, and it was just wonderful inside. I thought it was great. I'm a big fan. I thought it was beautiful and nice. Yeah, smaller, but still very, very nice.
Yeah. Well, and it's smaller for sure, but there's also less passengers. So there's that like balance, right? Like I wouldn't say like the Wonder or the Magic ever feel like empty unless they're at really low capacity. But I personally can sort of feel the difference between, 4,000 person ship and a 2,400 person ship. Like you can kind of feel it's a different vibe, and even though there are places that get crowded, it just feels a little different. I don't know if you felt the same way.
Yeah, it definitely felt overall, for the most part, less crowded than our experience on the Wish last year. I think that definitely holds true.
Yeah. Well, this time you weren't staying concierge. And so you don't have the concierge lunch to go to, or the sort of the check-in process that is, of course, a little bit different. But tell us what you guys decided to do for your first action on the ship. Are you going to lunch, or are you going to explore? Like, what are you guys up to when you get once you've sort of been welcomed onto the Wonder and you get into her atrium?
So I knew for our party that the last thing personally that I wanted to do was to rush off to Cabanas and deal with all the busyness that I've heard so much about on your show particularly. So I didn't think I mentioned we were with the same sailing party as last year. So it was my family of 4, and then my mother and sister joined us again from Portland.
Oh, nice! Yeah,
yes. There were 6 of us, and we just went to the sit down lunch, which was at Tiana's.
Oh,
it was
the best.
Really easy. You just walked through and walked straight down and got in there.
Yeah. Well, and you get to check out that dining room for the first time, too. On the Magic, they do the same thing. It's in Rapunzel's. On the Wonder, it's in Tiana's. I kind of love that as your first meal on board, because you really get to explore the restaurant before it's really crowded, because you don't have the same, like most people do still go to Cabanas. And so you're going to be in that restaurant for dinner, one night on your cruise, but it's going to be fully packed when you're there for dinner. Whereas when you're there for lunch, it's going to be a lot less busy. What did you think of that space, and of sort of? You mentioned you thought the Wonder was beautiful. I'm wondering if are your kiddos big Tiana fans?
My daughter is, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were excited. Of course, at lunch, Tiana's not there yet. But no, it was really nice. I think it was exactly what what we needed to do, to just have a calm sit down lunch first day on board, which was not so different from the concierge lunch we did a year ago. It was really casual, really easy. The decoration looked beautiful. It definitely made me think of New Orleans Square at Disneyland a bit, but much bigger. It was a very big open space. But what was interesting is that we did, on the way down there, we did walk past Triton's and see the concierge lunch happening in there, and had a little bit of a
A little pang of jealousy there.
a little bit. But we had a great lunch, and the food was wonderful.
So you enjoyed your concierge experience last time. What made you opt not to do it this time? Was it just price, or why'd you opt out of it this time?
So I would call this cruise kind of a big experiment. So we did the concierge cruise last year. We loved it. We wanted to do it again immediately, but that doesn't really fit the financial picture for us to do a concierge cruise every year. But I want to cruise as much as possible now, I'm convinced. So this was a big experiment to see, okay, what is it like to live on the other side, to live the other way? And so, so we had to find out. So that we had, we were not concierge, but we also had a smaller room. We had a regular deluxe room, but two of them, staterooms.
Yeah. Instead of the family deluxe, right? Which is sort of the extended size. Yeah. And it is a couple, I mean, it's nice to have the extra space, but I don't know with your family of 4, we're only a family of 3, so it's a little bit different for us. But like, I don't know that I feel like that extra space is like 100% necessary, although it's a nice to have kind of thing. Because so what did you feel about your stateroom on this ship?
It did feel pretty tight for us comparing it to a concierge stateroom a year ago. So that was one of our first learnings, or at least by the end of our 3-night cruise, was we probably will need a bigger room if you do it again.
Well, and you can, to be clear, the deluxe family veranda stateroom and concierge is the same room as a regular deluxe family veranda stateroom. It does have updated or slightly nicer, finishings, but it is the same room, it's the same footprints, all right? Like it's the same size. So you're not getting any more space with concierge if you pick the same room category. Obviously, there are no like 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms that are outside of concierge. But when you're talking about that deluxe family veranda stateroom, it is the same stateroom. But I think it is helpful to sort of try out different ones, because you don't know what's going to work for you until you actually do it. But it's good. You have a sort of, now barometer wise, like, yes, we can go without concierge, but no, we probably can't go in that just deluxe veranda. We need that deluxe family veranda. And so that's kind of a helpful barometer of where you're going to be budgeting for future cruises, I guess. Well, I'd love to talk about what you guys did on the first day. Did you sort of explore the ship? Did you check out the kids' clubs? Like, how old are the kids for this cruise? So that helps me remember which kids' clubs they're in.
So my daughter is 8 and my son just turned 11.
Okay, so you've got 1 Edge and 1 Kids Oceaneers Club Lab. Did you guys go check out those spaces, and were the kids interested in spending time in those spaces?
Yeah, so after lunch, we did go to the open house at Oceaneers Club and Edge. At Oceaneers Club, they both really liked it, but of course they said almost immediately that it wasn't as good as the one on the Wish. I don't know about that, but we had a hard time getting my daughter out of there for sure.
Yeah. So I will say, I think they're right. I do think the Wish class has the best kids club. That doesn't mean that the others aren't good. And actually, some people really like the Wonder and the Magic's kids club because they like the slide. If they're big, so I think some of the younger kids who love the slide in Andy's room, that's the only class that has a slide inside the kids club, not just going into the kids club like on the Wish and the Treasure. Yeah. Okay. So they both thought the kids club's cool. What about your son and Edge?
So we did go tour Edge, but and that was fine. We were there with him, but then he left with us. He didn't want to stay. He didn't want to miss out. But he had just turned 11 the week before the cruise.
Oh, okay. So he's on the younger side.
Yeah, and he found it. It ended up being a bit too big of a jump for him. He wasn't quite ready to go back to Edge on his own. We tried to encourage him a few times over the cruise, but he just wasn't in for it. He wasn't ready for it.
Yeah. And that's okay. I mean, there are a lot of kids who, it is a bigger leap. It is a very much independent, space. There's less there. They do have some structured things, but they have less structured things than in the kids club. And of course, he's not with his sister if he's in Edge, right? So it is a little bit of, for some kiddos, it can be a harder transition. I'll give a recommendation out there that if you think your kid is going to be a little bit apprehensive about kids club, Edge, what have you, make a connection if you can in the Facebook group with maybe another family who has a kiddo of the same or similar age, and maybe same gender, maybe different gender, kind of depends on your kiddo and what they're comfortable with. But making those connections and meeting up with another family on day one can sometimes help ease that transition, because the kids are often a little bit more willing to go to a kids club if they feel like they have a friend that will be there with them. So I think just a pro tip out there in the community. And many families have that apprehension because they have no idea if their kids are going to like the kids club or be sort of willing to go. And so you'll find in those Facebook groups many other families in the same situation as you are.
Yeah, for him, it was just he didn't want to go without his sister.
Yeah.
And so actually I wanted to tell your listeners that I did go ask at Ocean Years Club. I said, he just turned 11 last week. He's here with his sister. Can you make an exception to let him in? And the answer to that question was no, they cannot make that exception, which made me really sad. But we had a great cast member interaction, because then she said, okay, I'll tell you what I could recommend. The first thing I need to ask you is, do you trust your children? And I said, that depends. He said, okay, here's what you can do. They are more than welcome to go together to Ocean Years Club during any of the open houses.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there will not be supervised, but there will be activities, and they're welcome to stay there together as long as there's an open house. And so they actually ended up doing that a couple times. And that
nice.
That worked out really well.
That is a very good solution. It's not the perfect solution for some families. And it's not, I got to tell people, they knew that was what was going to be the answer. They are very strict. They do not allow anybody to age down, even though they do allow some flexibility with aging up. And it's just their policy, and they do it for safety reasons. So I understand it. It can be a bit of a tough pill to swallow, particularly with where your kid has literally just aged out. And it can also be a difficult pill to swallow for, kids with disabilities who are maybe their mental age does not meet their physical age, if you know what I mean. And so that can be tough because they just don't make any exceptions. And so it just is what it is, right? But the solution of open house is a partial solution. It's not a perfect solution. But yeah, I appreciate that they brought that up, though. That it is a good tip for those out there. Well, let's talk about some of the other stuff you guys got up to on board. I mean, this cruise is really about the ship, I would say. I'm guessing you weren't really that like gung-ho, well, we have to go to Ensenada and do like a million things there. It's kind of, I would say it's not even as nice as Nassau. So as far as like, I don't want to call it the Nassau of the West Coast, because I actually think Nassau is nicer than Ensenada. But did you guys get off at Ensenada, or did you stay on the ship?
We did not get off at Ensenada.
Okay.
We weren't sure about it leading up to it, but visiting a lot of friends and family in Portland the week before, we were telling them about the cruise and the itinerary. And every time we said, well, the ship's going to Ensenada, every single person in my family said, oh, don't go there. It's not bad if you're just getting off to go like get some food, maybe do a little bit of shopping, but it's not the greatest of ports to stop in. It's like I said, it's more about the ship and cruising, not really about Ensenada in particular. You guys didn't stop in Catalina, I'm assuming, because it's only a 3-night. You're right. No, it's just a 3-night. So we had a sea day and then Ensenada day.
All right, that makes sense. So tell us, what did you guys get up to on the ship? What are some of the things you were, you enjoyed or were surprised by, or maybe even things you didn't enjoy on board?
Gosh, well, it definitely was all about the ship. We wanted to experience everything that the Wonder had to offer. So we started out the first morning. My wife and I went and explored the ship and I walked around. We went to Cove Cafe for the first time. We didn't really make it there on the Wish. So
Oh yeah, it's too far away on the Wish. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So we got our coffees and that was great. I loved the artwork on top of the coffee. I took a picture of every single one I bought throughout the trip. That was really nice. And then, listening to your show, I know that on the Wish, they didn't have the track that goes all the way around. And I said, oh, I'm pretty sure this ship should have it.
Yeah.
So I sold it to my wife, like, let's go for a walk and let's go walk around it. It wasn't a very long walk on deck 4, but we were surprised that it's enclosed and really tight in the front and in the back of the ship.
Yes.
So that was interesting. But the upside was we did see whales that morning.
You did? Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So we did see some nature. We saw whales that morning. And the night before, after the show, we stepped outside and we saw dolphins.
Oh, I love that. This is not unusual, folks, for like if you are on a West Coast cruise seeing if even in the Caribbean you might see a pod of dolphins as well, but on the West Coast it's not unusual to see a pod of dolphins. It's also not unusual to see whales, usually humpback whales. So it's if you want to see orcas, I'm sorry, that's really like you're not going to see that. You might see that up in Alaska, but you're probably not going to see that down near San Diego, but you will often see humpback whales. That's incredible, Jason.
Yeah, so we had some really great natural moments. And then we also did Royal Gathering again. That's always a hit. That was super fun. And then this cruise, we did a lot more activities for the first time that we didn't get to last year. So we did, my son and my wife and my mom and my sister really enjoyed trivia for the first time. And that was nice. It was in that lounge right by Tiana's. I can't remember the name of it.
French Quarter
Lounge, yeah. So that was really fun. We also did bingo for the first time.
Oh, nice. What did you think of bingo? I feel like bingo is a very American thing. I don't know how your the rest of your family kind of viewed it.
Yeah. I'm not sure we would do it again. It was very crowded. We got there maybe 5 or 10 minutes before and we couldn't sit together. There wasn't enough space for us. So that was kind of let down. My wife and daughter actually ended up leaving because it was just not enough room for us to sit, and it didn't seem very fun for them. But the cast members were very entertaining.
Yeah,
none of us won, which was difficult for my son. He likes winning.
I mean, who doesn't like winning? I'm with your son. The reason I don't love bingo is because I want to win. And it's so random, right? Like your chances of winning are, I'm not saying they're nothing. They're not nothing, but they're like not high. So they're, especially because there's so many people. And frankly, even if you win, you often end up splitting the prize with somebody else who's won at the same time. Now, that's not to be said that we have had a couple people on the show who have won like big amounts. Like I think we had one guest who won like $4,000 in bingo because they won one of the bigger jackpots like at the end of the cruise.
Wow.
But most people don't win, and so it is gambling for a reason, and I would say the biggest tip for bingo, if you're really into bingo and you really enjoy it, absolutely go and do it, but don't go in one with an expectation that you're going to win, and to get there early because it is super crowded, and if you want to get a table together or seating together depending upon where it's being held, it's often in the D lounge, but sometimes can be other places on the other ships. You need to get there like as soon as they start selling bingo, which is usually, I think, 45 minutes before the actual bingo session starts, which is, I know sounds crazy, but it is bingo is a rope drop culture event. Like it is just, yeah.
Yeah, I did not expect that. It was very crowded. I think if I were personally, I would like to do bingo again in a space that has windows.
Yeah.
I always kind of feel like, am I really going to spend over like an hour of my time in this windowless room on this beautiful cruise ship with all the ocean views ever around? I felt like it's like I'm kind of missing out on the cruise. I could be doing this anywhere, but it was really fun.
Yeah. And it is one of the, I agree with you though, that the cast members are super entertaining. The ones who host bingo, they are like really good at what they do. And there are certain like sayings that they do every time and people get really, really into it. And so it is this like fun community event if it's something that you're interested in doing. Pretty much every cruise line now has bingo. It's kind of a big thing. And for Disney, it's the only gambling on board a Disney cruise. Whereas other, ships have casinos, Disney only has bingo. So yeah, if you're into that, it can be, I'm sure, fun, but it's probably not the event for everyone. Yeah.
Hey, Jason, can I ask, what was the weather like on the cruise for you?
So it was like 60 and cloudy the first 2 days. The first day and the second day there were some sun breaks, and it stayed. It didn't rain, but it wasn't hot.
Mm-hmm.
And this was kind of a constant struggle during those first couple of days. We really just wanted to go outside and enjoy it, but it wasn't very pleasant.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's Pacific Northwest swim weather at 60, but yeah.
Yeah. We did go up on the deck for a little bit that day. We did go in the pool and also in the hot tubs. So the thing my kids still talk about from our first cruise on the Concierge is the hot tubs in the Concierge lounge. Honestly, I'm kind of thinking it'd be cheaper to buy a hot tub than buy another Concierge cruise on Disney.
Well, I will say on the Wonder, so the best thing about the Wonder, they do have those 2 hot tubs right on the pool deck, on the main pool deck, and you can sit in those hot tubs and actually watch Funnel Vision. You got to be in the right seat. If they're really crowded, you won't get a seat that you can see. You're gonna have your back to Funnel Vision, but like if you stake out a spot in one of those 2 hot tubs, you can like sit there. I mean, Nathan, I feel like loves that on the Wonder and on the Magic, and other kids like basically dominate those hot tubs on that pool deck. Yeah.
Yes, you can sit there and enjoy it. You and your 10 new best friends sitting in the pool with you.
Yes, it is. It's hot tub soup. Instead of being like we have kid soup in the pool, and it is kid soup in those 2 hot tubs, because they are on the family pool deck. They are not in the adult pool deck, and so it is like, you're right, like filled with like 10 kids of all ages, right? Like, I mean, they're all potty trained kids, but it's always packed with children. Yeah,
exactly right. So we got to experience that. That was another first for us, was the hot tub soup with all the kids. But I got smart because I noticed on the first morning walking around that the pool opens at 9, I think. And right at 9, there's nobody in the pool or in the hot tubs. So the second morning we rope dropped the hot tubs, and we had like the better part of an hour of one of the hot tubs to ourselves. And that was
nice. Nice. Yeah. That's a smart tip. Go to the hot tub early, or don't, so that Jason's family can have it into themselves. The other time that it is, I think, good, if the hot tubs and the pools are still open, which they often, maybe not all of them, but usually at least one of them will be open during early dinner. If you have late dinner, if you sort of are at the pool deck during early dinner, it tends to be less busy. Did the kids check out the water slide? I know on the Wonder, you only have the yellow slide, the twist and spout. You don't have an aqua duck or aqua mouse like you have on the other ships, and you don't have an aqua dunk like you have on the Magic, which is that vertical slide. But you do still have that yellow twist and spout slide. Did the kids enjoy that one?
Yes, yeah, they did. My daughter went on it, I think, 10 times. And I went on it a few times too. I think my expectations were pretty low because, again, it's not very impressive to look at compared to the other big slides, but it's longer and faster than it looks. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. And it is, to your point, it is available to adults. It's not like the ones on the Wish and the Treasure. You technically can go on them, but you really can't. It's the Slidosaurus Rex. You can technically go on it, but you're gonna get stuck on it. It's not meant for a ride.
Adults. It's not a thrilling ride.
Yeah. And then the yellow Mickey slide on the Dream and the Fantasy, you actually can't go on if you're over a certain, I don't know if it's height or age, I can't remember, but basically adults can't go on the yellow Mickey slide on the Dream and the Fantasy. So the Twist and Spout on the Magic and the Wonder is the one sort of in between slide that you can go on and I think still enjoy as an adult. In fact, that was the first water slide that Nathan actually ever, I think, went on and enjoyed. And it was like the thing that kind of, I think, got him into water slides. Because at the time he wasn't really a swimmer. So he couldn't go on water slides that would end in a pool. He could only do water slides that would end in like one of those chute things like on the ships. So, all right, well, let's, speaking of, I mentioned dining, but did you guys do early dining or late dining on this cruise?
So this time we decided the kids were old enough to do late dining, and that was the right choice for us.
Yeah. There are some people who swear by early dining. We're not those people, but late dining gives you the opportunity to have a more full day. It is tough because it is very late, and you might be going to sleep like right after dinner, which some people don't like, or that doesn't necessarily agree with their digestive system. But like, I feel like early dining eats into your fun during the day. I don't know if you guys feel the same about it.
I do feel the same way. I hate that rush to, you can't miss that dining time. And what if you're doing something fun?
Yeah, exactly.
You also get extra pool time at night. I mean, to your point about the pool being fairly empty in the morning, like it's emptier even at night. So yeah. Are you listening to our show because you want to make the most out of your next vacation? Great news, the fabulous team over at My Path Unwinding Travel can help guide you so you don't miss a thing. Their team of professional travel advisors are caring, knowledgeable, and experienced. It's why we use them to book our own travel. My Path Unwinding Travel is an authorized Disney vacation planner, which means they are recognized by Disney for their expertise and service. They have sailed on all the Disney ships, including in Concierge, visited the theme parks, adventured with Disney, relaxed at Aulani, and so much more. Whether it's a Disney cruise, a theme park vacation, or Adventures by Disney, or if you are looking to expand beyond the mouse, My Path Unwinding Travel will elevate your next vacation planning experience. Even if you have already booked, reach out for a complimentary consultation to make your vacation even more magical. Ready to talk to the experts? Head over to mypathunwinding.com/DCL Duo or email dclduo@mypathunwinding.com so they know we sent you their way. Thanks, My Path Unwinding, for sponsoring today's show. Now back to the episode.
What did you guys think of now you had been on the Wish, and the Wish has fantastic dining options, including obviously the pool deck. We love to talk about the pool deck food on the Wish class ships. Mickey's Festival of Foods is incredible. You don't have Mickey's Festival of Foods on the Magic and the Wonder. You do have pool deck food. You do have they do have like a Euro station, and so they do have some couple of different options. But it's different. What did you think about the pool deck food in comparison to what you had on the Wish?
So it's definitely better on the Wish, particularly for us. We're vegetarians, and so we love Donald's Cantina or whatever it's called on the Wish.
Mm-hmm.
But I was really pleasantly surprised and happy at the grill on the Wonder. I can't remember the name of it. But they actually had veggie burgers and veggie hot dogs. And so that was a really nice surprise, especially a veggie hot dog is not something you see a lot around.
Yeah.
Was it the best hot dog? No.
But at least there's an option, right?
But it was great. I really enjoyed having it. I felt included and had a fun chat with the cast member who served it, who's from South Africa. So we were able to speak some Dutch, so Afrikaans and Dutch together.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's very fun. Yeah. What about main dining? Obviously, we talked a little bit about Tiana's, but only only about lunch at Tiana's. I'm curious what you guys thought of main dining on the Disney Wonder. There is no comparison in terms of like they don't have any of the same restaurants, right? Like it's three completely new restaurants for you with Triton's and Tiana's and Animator's Palate, right? So you get to experience three different dining, completely new from the Wish. Yeah. What did you think about their experiences? What did you think about the food quality? All of that.
Yeah. So for me, I actually thought that the dining on the Wonder was a little better than the Wish. And maybe that's just recency bias. I don't know. But everything I ate, I thought was better than I anticipated, better than I expected it to be. It was interesting. In each of the restaurants, we seemed to have the same table, which was a table near the server station. So it was kind of noisy and chaotic a lot of times. And I was really curious that in each of the restaurants, our table was always next to the service station.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
But we had some great food. My mom had the prime rib at Tiana's. She actually had it twice. She had it for lunch and then had it again for dinner. She said it was the best. So it
Oh,
was
awesome.
exceptionally good. What else? I mean, the food, it was really good. So Tiana's was our first night. And then we also, hearing the tips on your show about the Indian food. So being vegetarians, we wanted to try the Indian food. So we requested that for our second night, which was our Triton's night.
Nice.
And so we had
Yeah, because you're not going to miss anything with the Chateaubriand because you're not going to eat. I mean, we love I would tell anyone if you're going to, you're in Triton's, like you got to order that Chateaubriand, but obviously you're a vegetarian, you're not ordering a steak. So Indian is like perfect for that. I mean, you can still get the appetizers like the baked brie. I don't know if you eat seafood, but the escargot, I don't know if is escargot technically seafood. I don't even know what one would categorize that as.
I'm not eating it. I can.
You're not eating it. Okay,
Yeah.
fair. I'm like, I feel like it's in the.
It's not seafood, Sam. Snails are from the land. So,
Well,
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's because it's more like shellfish. It's sort of like I feel like it might be something that a pescatarian would eat, right? Like I don't know if obviously a full vegetarian wouldn't, but like yeah. Okay, so you're not eating snails, but yeah. What did you think of the Indian food?
So we ordered the Indian food for 2 of our nights. On Triton's night, I was a little disappointed by it. I don't know. I think it didn't have as much spice or flavor as I wanted it to. Our third night, we were at Animator's Palate, and we got the Indian again, and it was great. And the funny thing there is, so the night before, they asked us if we wanted the Indian food again, and we said, "Oh, well, the menu at Animator's Palate actually has some really nice vegetarian-looking things, so it's fine. You don't have to bring it to us." And the server said, "Well, I'm just going to order the Indian food for you." And we're like, no, it's fine. He said, "No, I just want to make sure you have options." We're like, okay. He would not take no for an answer. And let me tell you, we're so glad that he did that because the veggie options in Animator's Palette were not great, but the Indian was.
Yeah.
So speaking of Tritons, the best thing, my sister said the best meal she ate on the entire cruise was the tofu dish at Triton's.
Oh, wow.
I didn't get to try it. She ate it very quickly.
I was like, she didn't even give you a chance as a vegetarian to sample.
After the meal that she proclaimed that it was the best thing ever.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah. So for vegetarians on the Wonder, get the tofu at Triton's.
Yeah. Well, and I think another thing that comes out of your experience is trust your wait staff. Like when they tell you like, "Hey, I'd like to bring you this also, like order off the menu, but I'm also going to bring you this thing." Like don't fight them because they're usually doing that because they know that like maybe that vegetarian dish that is at Animators that looks good in writing just doesn't get executed as well or it just doesn't have enough flavor or whatever, right? Like they do know those things and they will bring you multiple dishes. Like I know it seems very wasteful to order multiple dishes, but like if you don't eat it, don't worry, the fish are going to get fed it anyway. So like it's going to go to use for somebody, just maybe not a person. So yeah, so just trust the wait staff when they give you a recommendation. Even if you don't want to fully follow the recommendation, you still want to order, the thing that looks good to you on the menu. They usually know what they're talking about, which is helpful. What did you think of your wait staff on this cruise in particular? Like, did you feel like it's a 3-night cruise, so you can't get to know them at like a super deep level? I feel like, or just on any shorter cruise, it's harder, to get to develop a deep relationship with crew. But yeah, what did you think of the service level on the Wonder?
So we found the wait staff on the Wonder to be much better than what we had on the Wish a year ago. They were super friendly, attentive. The server that bought our drinks, she was just, I don't know, the cutest, most adorable, lovely woman. So warm and friendly. And they really went above and beyond for us. I think it was our second night at Triton's. My son decided that he didn't want Mickey's mac and cheese again. And he wanted a veggie burger, an Impossible burger, which they have on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And so he tried to get that for dinner, but they weren't sure if they could make it happen. They went and tried. They ended up coming back with a veggie chicken of some sort that I didn't know where it came from. So they managed to make that happen.
Yeah.
And then they said, "Okay, but do you think you're going to want a veggie burger tomorrow night for your last night?" We said, "Okay, yes, he'll probably want that." And they made that happen. They made it happen on the last night. They actually brought him 2.
Of course they did, because they were making up for the night before, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. But they really saw to that extra detail and accommodation for a child to be able to have a veggie burger 2 nights in a row. Now, the
Yeah.
funny thing is that he was really happy to have the veggie burger, but then didn't want to eat it. It felt terrible. I was like,
Oh,
they really went above and beyond, and then he wouldn't eat it.
oh, did he
They
eat
were
mac and cheese that night?
fine with that. I think so. I can't remember what he had that night.
Yeah. Well, and that's just kids, right? Like that's the hard thing about special ordering anything is that if you're special, if you, for, allergy meals have to be usually ordered in advance and just things that aren't typically on the menu, often if you request it, they'll make it happen. The problem is that I feel like adults are like, even if they don't really want it, they're just going to like eat it because they asked for it, right? But kids are just not like that. Kids are going to be honest. And I think that's a wonderful trait about children that they are so honest. But it's just, that's just the kind of thing that happens. But I feel like the wait staff usually is super understanding and is not at all feeling some type of way about it. Like they're like, yeah, he's a kid. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, they were really wonderful. Really
Yeah.
wonderful. It was fun.
Now, because you were on the Wonder, you did have a show with dinner in Tiana's, and you have a mini show in Animators with dinner. When I say a mini show, it's Sorcerer Mickey, Sorcerer's Apprentice Mickey. If I say Sorcerer Mickey, then Nathan will correct me. But Sorcerer's Apprentice Mickey comes out and does a thing. And then, of course, in Tiana's, you actually have like a full show. What did you guys think of the dinner shows? Obviously, you had experienced dinner shows in Marvel and Arendelle on the Wish, of course, different. And I don't know if you felt like Tiana's was as loud as Arendelle or how you sort of felt about the shows.
So at Tiana's, we were actually seated right next to the stage. We were in between a service station and the stage. So we were very close to the action. Tiana came by a few times. It was really fun. I really enjoyed the music. Perhaps was a bit loud, but we were next to the stage. But no, it was good. It was also our first night. I think we were just very excited to be there to start the cruise. But I think my wife did find it a bit too loud of a restaurant space.
Yeah.
But hands down, everybody's favorite meal was Animator's Palate.
Oh.
Everybody felt like it had the best food, the best ambiance, the most Disney. And when they do the Sorcerer's Apprentice Mickey, and the kind of like the parade at the end of all the service staff where you're clapping for them and everything, that really hit my sister and I, particularly in the feels. We were like really bawling. The waterworks were flowing.
Oh, I love that. And this was your last night too, right?
Our last night.
Yeah.
It was just peak magic.
Oh.
And that's the one that everybody still talks about, is doing Animator's Palette again.
I love that. What about shows? Did you guys go and see the shows on the Disney Wonder? If I remember correctly, you had gone to see the shows on the Wish. But yeah, did you go to? Well, I assume you had all 3 shows, although occasionally they have to, if there's technical issues, they might have to cut one. But did you go to all 3 shows on the Wonder?
We did go to all 3 shows before dinner each night. So we had the Golden Mickeys. Then night 2 we had Frozen, and night 3 we had Dreams.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And Frozen is freaking amazing.
Yeah.
It is so good, so amazing. Everybody knows that, but it by far was the best of the 3 shows. Golden Mickey's was fun because they do the red carpet pre-show beforehand. Right. So my daughter ran out there and she got on there.
Oh, she was on the red carpet and did a little interview.
Got the interview. And when they asked her where she's from, she said, Amsterdam. And the look on the cast member's face, like, whoa. Because everybody else in the line had been from California or West Coast.
Right.
So then my daughter got to be kind of a minor celebrity for a couple of days. People every swap say, that's the girl from Amsterdam.
How cute. I love that.
Yeah. In terms of the Golden Mickeys, the music is great, but the story is the Ensign Benson thing for me didn't really cut it.
See, Brian?
Oh my God, Sam, you're like the ultimate of like confirmation bias.
No, it's cute. Listen, it's cute, but it's just not Frozen level, right?
You know whose opinion I'm hanging my hat on, Sam? Carly Weissel. So there you go. Like, 55,000 strong followers on Instagram, and she likes the golden Mickeys.
Listen, there's some Disney nostalgia in both Golden Mickeys and Dreams all have, some really fun Disney nostalgia because of the musical numbers. But if you're looking for like storyline, plot, all of that, like, and just like amazing puppetry too, right? Frozen has to take it, no question, on the winner.
Particularly for Dreams, I don't know what it is about that show. I don't know why they did the show this way. The musical numbers are huge, fantastic. The performances are amazing, and then as soon as the music number is done, the energy just drops out of all of it.
Yeah.
And then there's just all this awkward dialogue. You're just waiting for another song to start.
Yes, you're waiting for them to reach a different part of the dream sequence, essentially.
And I had a hard time following the story at all. I had to ask my wife a couple times, like, what's happening? What are we waiting for? And it just seemed to be, there's just another song every hour of the night. There was another song. Like, okay.
It doesn't it doesn't have some strong storyline plot underlying it. It's just about a girl's sort of coming of age story from being in an elementary school to going to middle school. So I feel like it hits some people in the feels because of its like timeliness, and your like if it's timely in your personal life with your child, and it is a daughter, and so it's if your daughter is becoming a middle schooler at the same time as Anne Marie, who's the main character in the show, like maybe it would hit you differently. But like, I'm with you, Jason. I think it's the musical numbers are wonderful, but the parts in between are just transitional moments, and they're not really important. And they could just do it as like a variety show or something instead of trying to weave it together with plot. So, are there other things you guys got up to on board that we haven't talked about?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So my sister and I did mixology class.
Oh, nice.
She had done it on the Wish last year, but I hadn't done any of the classes before. It was in the Cadillac Lounge, and it was pretty great. Server teaches you about the difference between the different drinks and the different styles, and then they bring them around to you. And I liked one of them very much. The other ones less so. Mm-hmm. But you did get like 5 drinks, like 5 pours of drinks, that thing. So that was really fun. I'm not sure I would do it again, but I am curious to do the other drinking. Like I'd really like to do the whiskey or the champagne tasting sometime.
Oh yeah. I love champagne, so I've really enjoyed the champagne tasting. Brian, I think, has done the whiskey tasting and enjoyed that. I think it's just a matter of like what your palate is, right? If you like whiskey, do the whiskey tasting. If you like wine, do the wine tasting, right? Like that. It's really good. I will tell you that mixology is different depending upon who is your bartender or sommelier or whoever is sort of teaching it. And so they don't do the same drinks. Like the bartender who's running the class, actually, there might be some, like in a martini tasting, they'll do always like a classic martini will be one of the drinks and then the rest will be different. But like in mixology and martini tasting, there's a lot of variety. And so it's not the same class. I will say if you do like champagne tasting from one ship to another, or even on the same ship, it's pretty much the same class. And so there really isn't a lot of variety. So it is one of those ones where if you like mixology one time or martini is the other one, it's doing it again. You're not necessarily it's not going to be replicated exactly. Whereas like champagne tasting will you might get different information from a different sommelier, but you're going to have the same like 5 champagnes. I think they usually throw in like 1 sparkling wine, but the rest are actual champagnes. Yeah. Wow. But yeah, I think those are really fun. They're really fun seminars. I like to remind people they're seminars. You're not going to be mixing your own drinks or pouring your own drinks. And so it's a demonstration and learning seminar more than it is like a mixology class, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's very true. That sums it up. The one thing I would tell Disney for that environment, or maybe for any bar that they set these in, is I was seated in a seat with my back to this bartender the whole time.
Oh, that's a bummer.
And he didn't move around really at all or anything. So my neck was pretty sore. Bad. But it was fun. It was nice. The
Yeah.
other activity we did was I took my daughter to Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique.
Oh, wonderful. Had she done it on the Wish? I can't remember.
No, she's done in the parks, but
Mhm.
this is the first time on the ship. This was really cute because it was in the funnel.
Mhm.
So you had to climb over there. It almost felt like kind of hidden, like a secret passageway.
It's super hidden. Yeah.
Yeah. But that was really nice. And so then after that, we did lots of character greetings. Both Belle and Oofy were in the atrium, and Donald. And so we got really, really great photos of her Bibbidi Boutique.
Her all princessed out. Which princess did she dress like, or if she did do the outfit?
She did we did the outfit. It was an early birthday present for her, and she was Belle this time.
Oh, and then she got to see Belle.
And then Belle was there.
Oh, what perfect coincidence. I mean, that doesn't always work out, right? Like the timing doesn't always work out perfect. I know a lot of people try to coordinate the Bibbidi Bobbidi appointment with like the Royal Gathering, for example. And you mentioned you did the Royal Gathering because that's where you get to meet like, usually three, sometimes four princesses and do pictures and autographs and whatnot. That's a reserve activity, but it's a free activity. You just have to reserve it in advance. It opens up 30 days before your cruise at the same time as you're doing like onboard booking check-in or not onboard booking, you're doing your check-in process. So, but that does book up. But anyway, yeah, I think I feel like people tend to love that Bibbidi Bobbidi experience. I actually just for the first time got to watch the experience. I had never, because Nathan's not interested in any kind of dress up type thing. We did do a similar experience at Aulani. It's I forget what it's called. It's like painted something or other, and they just put like red color stuff in his hair. And they did like fake tattoos. Like he got like covered in sea turtles, which was he actually liked the temporary tattoos. The hair stuff, he's sensory sensitive kid, and like having all this like hair gel in his hair was like just uncomfortable for him. And we've offered him multiple times if he has wanted to do, Bibbidi Bobbidi to, get dressed up like Captain Mickey or a prince or knight, whatever you want, but not at all interested. So I got to go on our last cruise on the Treasure in April. My friend Ashley, her daughter Catherine was doing Bibbidi Bobbidi. And so I went about halfway through her appointment and went in and sat and watched. And it was the cutest thing. I was like, so like the fairy godmothers in training were just so incredible. The way they interact with those kids and the way they make these kids feel so special and so like they're so attentive. I was just like I know Disney service is of course above and beyond, but I had never watched this experience myself. I was super, super impressed.
They do a great job. I mean, they basically ignore the grown up.
Yeah.
To their client, their princess, the whole time, like nonstop. They're chitty-chatting, asking questions, getting personal. It's adorable, and she can only do it until she's 12. And I'm never gonna say no.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. And another tip for that though is if your child happens to be older or bigger, I highly recommend buying in advance a princess dress and bringing it along with you because they do on board sometimes have limited sizes available. And particularly if the kiddo has their heart set on a particular princess. And so in order to sort of mitigate of, a situation where they might not have your child's size, also, it's kind of a cost-saving tip as well. But you can bring on your own princess dress and just do like the hair and makeup part and not actually buy the dress package and all of that.
And don't forget the shoes.
Oh, and don't forget the shoes. Oh, was your kiddo in sneakers? Yeah.
Yeah, so she has Disney princess shoes at home, of course, and we did not pack them. And so then you're there. And she's getting the gown. And so like, okay, I'm going to buy the shoes.
I didn't even think that they sell the shoes on board.
They do.
Wow.
They have this, you have to complete the outfit, right? But to the point you were just making, they didn't have her size of the one she wanted. So she ended up going with the other ones. So you had to go second choice because of the size.
Okay. Well, good point then. Bring the shoes. Yeah. Bring the shoes. Don't forget the shoes. Even if you're buying the dress, bring the shoes from home. Yeah.
Shoes are not included with the dress.
Yeah. Well, Jason, this sounds like an amazing cruise, but I think we have reached that point in the show where Sam needs to subject you to another round of rapid fire. So, Sam, do you have your arbitrary questions, arbitrary rules, and your dash of judgment ready?
I do. And because we're going to skip the general, Disney favorites, because we did that last time. But we are going to jump back to Disney Cruise Line favorites, because now you have a point of comparison between the Wish and obviously the Wonder. And so some of your answers, I think some of your answers have changed since you've been on this now second ship, including, of course, because before your favorite ship was the Wish, because it's the only ship you'd been on. And so now you can actually answer differently if you want. You don't have to. But we're going to start with shows, because that's the most important place to start. Now, across both the Wish and the Wonder, you got to see some great shows. I'm wondering from the Wish and the Wonder, across all the shows you've seen, which show was your favorite?
That's a little hard. I love The Little Mermaid on the Wish, but it's got to be Frozen. Frozen it was amazing. It was perfect.
Yes, and that is absolutely the correct answer, Jason. I was going to be a little bit suspect.
Golden Mickey's.
But I was going to be, I was going to be a little suspect if you chose Little Mermaid over Frozen. Little Mermaid is wonderful, but Frozen above and beyond is better. I would actually say Seize the Adventure is fantastic. I think, to me, on the Wish, I think Seize the Adventure is actually the best show. But that might be a hot take for some people. All right. Let's go with favorite onboard activity, because now you've had a chance to probably experience more onboard activities between the two different ships. What would you say is your favorite now?
I'm going to give two answers. Mine is is a margarita by the Quiet Cove pool.
Yeah.
But for my kids, it's karaoke.
I love it.
Again, like, to them, family karaoke is now synonymous with Disney cruising, and you can't have one without the other. And we did it, I think, 3 times on the Wonder.
Wow, I love it. That's hilarious. Now, when I assume they sing, do they choose Disney songs, or do they choose like Taylor Swift, or like what are they? What's their go-to type of music?
So it was a mix. So yes, some Taylor Swift. Yes, sometimes Disney songs. This time was Lady Gaga.
I love it. I love it. Fantastic. All right. Favorite rotational dining. Now you get to choose from. I know which one you're going to choose, but I'm not. I'm gonna. It's in my head. I already know it. I feel like we're on the same page about this one, Jason. So, but which one is your favorite?
I think I'm going to go with Animator's Palate.
That's exactly the right answer. Exactly.
I have to say, I love 1923, but I think, given the choice of the two, I'd pick Animator's Palate, I think.
I can't believe Tiana's didn't make the cut. I mean, I know it's different because, but
I think it's just the Disney nostalgia, and having, Sorcerer's Apprentice Mickey come in. Like, I feel like that it hits on all those things, right? Like 1923 also has obviously the stuff around you that brings a Disney nostalgia, but there's no show element. And then you balance with like Tiana's, which is like, for some people, is too much show, right? Like, so it's a balance of like, is it enough show? Is it too much show? That sort of a thing. Yeah.
I think Tiana's was great, but I don't know if it's as repeatable as Animator's Palette might be, because of the magic, the nostalgia, all of that. Like, Tiana's is definitely probably more entertainment for your meal.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
All right. Favorite space on the ship? Like, let's sort of favorite, like, relaxing space on the ship.
Oh, it's going to be the Quiet Cove. It's going to be the adult pool area.
Yeah. Definitely. And I'm assuming when you say the Quiet Cove, you're talking about the one on the Wonder, not the one on the Wish.
Yes, the one on the Wonder.
Yes, yeah, because it's just the adult pool area on the older ships is better than on the Wish class. The ones on the Wish class are nice because they're very far away from sort of the hubbub of everything, and you're not going to have kids like running through and whatnot. But like the layout and it's just they're not as nice as on, I think, the older ships.
Absolutely.
All right. We got to talk some food. I got to hear. Now you're vegetarian, so this is going to be different than my choices. Although maybe not in sweets. I don't know. Let's start with a favorite sweet item, and then we'll do a favorite savory item. This can be from anywhere on the ship. This could be like pool deck ice cream to, a dessert you had in main dining, whatever. A favorite sweet item.
The dessert sundae at Tiana's.
Ah, nice. Awesome.
It was wonderful.
Awesome. All right. A favorite savory item.
I'm going to say the truffle brisettes.
Yes, I love it. Which are vegetarian. For those listening, they have mushroom, they have cheese. They're not vegan because there's cheese in there, but they are vegetarian. Delicious. Awesome. All right. This is a very important question. Which one is your favorite ship? You can choose between the Wish or the Wonder. It's hard.
I'm going to stick with the Wish.
Okay, fair.
I think, yeah. For me, any of the ships, I'll take any of them. I have a secret goal, and I think it's just me to go on all the ships. But at the end of this, the family overall, they say they like the Wish better, preferred the Wish, not only because we were concierge on the Wish, but they just felt that Wish had more. Now, I don't know if that's empirically true, but they just felt like the Wish has more spaces, more family activities, more going on. And so I think
it also has more people, right? So
yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's the balance, right? That's the I think they're right. There is more because there are more spaces. There are probably more activities as well on the Wish class in general, but there's more people. So they have to sort of balance like having enough for everyone on those ships. So I don't, there's not a wrong answer. I mean, I would disagree with your family and I would choose the Wonder myself, but I can understand why somebody would choose the Wish because it does have a lot to offer. I feel like I've got to tell you, my best piece of advice for you, Jason, is that you have to go on the Treasure next, because given how much your family loves the Wish, I feel like 7 nights is in your future.
I think what Jason needs to do is take a Disney cruise closer to home now.
Well, that's true. That's true. I mean, there are the European options
more often. Then
the European options, and then that's going to be right now. The fantasy is, of course, sailing in Europe, but we're recording this at the end of June, and you're probably not jumping on a ship next month. And although I don't know. We'll talk about that in a second.
Steal my thunder, Sam.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to. I'm not going to ask. But like right now, it's the fantasy. Next year, it's going to be the dream again. I've heard rumors. I don't know if I actually don't think this is true. I've heard rumors. Somebody was telling me they've heard that the Wish is going to go over the next year.
That was wild.
Yeah, that would be wild. I will be honest and say I have no idea of the veracity of that statement. This is complete rumor.
I just don't know what ports can do the LNG fuel.
The fuel, exactly. Yeah. We just don't know. Yeah, that's really the barrier is the fueling for the Wish class. But there may be ports that are now planning for LNG fuel, and 2 years from now, that's certainly something that's possible. Okay, well, my last question of rapid fire is your bucket list cruise, Jason. I don't remember what your answer was last time, so I'm not going to know if your answer has changed because unfortunately, the amount of shows we record, it's impossible for me to remember everybody's answer. But what is your bucket list cruise? Meaning if you could go anywhere on a Disney Cruise Line ship that you haven't been, and it doesn't even have to be someplace that Disney currently sails, where would you go?
So I have a different answer than last year. Now I would love to do Vancouver to Australia with a nice, at least 2 weeks stopping at Alani.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can do that. It'll take you more like a month than the 2 weeks because right now they do have that right now. You have to go Vancouver to Hawaii. You do a little bit of sailing around the Hawaiian Islands, and then you do Hawaii to Australia, New Zealand, or probably to
South
Sydney.
Pacific. All that is. I've got my Trigger Sam's shirt on. All that is right up my alley.
I love it. I myself am wearing a Disneyland shirt as well. So I mean, obviously have to represent West Coast, Best Coast, Disneyland, the original. Well, thank you for playing, Jason. You passed with flying colors. Other than our disagreement on which one is the favorite ship, it's all fair game. So thank you for playing, and I appreciate, I always appreciate when somebody is game for a little bit of judgment. So, and now I know Brian wants to ask the question.
Yeah, Jason. So what is next? You been eyeing anything? You actually booked something? Did you grab a placeholder while you were on the Wonder?
So we have already booked the Treasure for the same week next year, first week of May. And it will be Concierge Cruise again.
Oh gosh. Okay, so this is
jealous. We haven't even done Concierge on the Treasure. Yeah,
we have not. We have done it on the Wish, but not on the Treasure. And I got to tell you that the Concierge Lounge. I know the Concierge Lounge on the Wish is wonderful. It's the same lounge, but the Treasure actually has a little bit of Star Wars theming in that lounge.
It sounds awesome,
and it's so good. Like it's very light,
very understated.
Yeah, it's a very light touch theming. Exactly. It's an understated to keep the elevated sort of experience of the lounge, but it's really good. I can't wait to see what they do with the Destiny for that very reason. But yeah, you're gonna love it. Like I said, that was my recommendation because I feel like if you love the Wish, like you're gonna and you're a parks person, so you're gonna love the Treasure. I cannot wait to hear how much you like it. So you're gonna have to come back on the show, obviously, to report on that.
Yeah, these two cruises we've done so far. We did 4 nights on the Wish, 3 nights on the Wonder in San Diego, and I've learned a few things. The weather really matters a lot. I think the family would have had a much nicer time on the Wonder if the weather were better. And also longer. We need longer cruises. These are not long enough. So I think we're done doing anything less than 5 nights. I'm super excited to do 7 nights on the Treasure back in the Caribbean. I think the weather's the most important thing to us. Yes, we could do a cruise in Europe, but we live here. We don't have to spend that much to go see these places. But for us, it's all about the ship and the weather and the relaxation. And so that's why I think we might be going back to the Caribbean pretty frequently.
Awesome. Love that.
Well, Jason, as always, we love having you on. We love having people on who are not in the US who can talk to us about the experience of Disney Cruise Line from a different perspective. And so love having you on. Hope to have you on after you sail on the Treasure and Concierge. We got to get that booked. We want to hear all about it. And for now, I'll just say thanks for spending a little time with us, a little later in your day, a little earlier in ours, but always enjoyable. And I hope we can maybe find a way to catch up while we're over there next year for our river cruise. For all of you out there who aren't in the know, our big second wave DCL duo podcast version 2.0 cruise is next summer. Adventures by Disney River Cruise in Holland and Belgium. So if you haven't heard about that, you should reach out to our good folks over at My Path Unwinding Travel. I think there are still some spaces available, so you can join us on that cruise. But Jason, for now, we'll just say thank you for coming on. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Brian and Sam. It's been great, and I'll see you in Amsterdam.
Yay!
Well, thanks to everyone out there for listening this week. We really, really appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you can keep getting great content from us every week. In fact, twice a week we publish shows. So be sure to hit the subscribe button to get all of those great episodes. And if you want to watch us live, we have a live show now every week, Monday nights, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern over on youtube.com/DCLduo. So be sure to head over and check that out. If you want to help support the show, be sure to hit those 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. And if you leave us a written review, a 5-star written review, we will read it at the top of one of our main episodes. So please head over there and hit those 5 stars. Of course, you can also help support the show by supporting our fabulous show sponsor, My Path Unwinding Travel. If you want to book your next Disney vacation, head over to mypathunwinding.com/DCLduo or email them at DCLduo@mypathunwinding.com so they know we sent you their way. If you've got questions or you'd like to connect with us, the best way to do that is to head over to DCLduo.com. It's got links to all of our things, full catalog of the podcast episodes, including a searchable catalog for the podcast, links off to our vlog, a link to our Etsy store where we sell some fun fan-inspired magnets, link to our Patreon if you'd like to help directly support the show each and every month. Just head over to the website or patreon.com/DCLduo. Also has a way for you to sign up for our Substack newsletter that we're hoping to start really pumping out monthly here at least, and a few blog articles that we've written. So DCLduo.com is the best way to connect with us. You can also, of course, email us at info@DCLduo.com or reach out to us on our voicemail line at 402 402-413-5590. That's 402-413-5590. The DCL Duo podcast is not affiliated with Disney Cruise Line, the Disney Company, or the Disney family of theme parks. The views expressed on the show are solely those of the individuals on the podcast and in no way reflect the views of the Disney Company or Disney Cruise Line. If you have questions about a Disney cruise or Disney vacation, please contact the great folks over at My Path Unwinding Travel or Disney directly or your own travel agent. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time for another fabulous adventure with the DCL Duo. Good night.